Good afternoon, class. This is my last video post for discussion question number 7 for career development. And the question reads, it is important for students to be aware of the appropriate use and misuse of standardized testing in working with career clients. Post your general reactions to chapter number 6. I found chapter number 6 to be very informative. I did not realize that there were so many assessments that could be done to highlight so many different areas in a person's life. When I looked over chapter number 6, I saw that some of the goals were identifying career beliefs. I really didn't think it was that important to identify them, but now as I'm reading more and I'm understanding more and I am obtaining more, I'm finding that it is so much more important to understand what my career beliefs are, because I believe that if I don't know what my beliefs are, then in a way I'm setting myself up for failure because I'm not really utilizing as many resources as I could, and instead I'm just limiting myself to just what is instead of looking at what could be. I was also very interested in when it says determining values. It made me really think of what are my values when it comes to working. I never really thought about it. I just kind of fell into my job. I work with people that are developmentally disabled, and I just kind of fell into it. I didn't think about it. I didn't think about the career of it. I didn't think about the values of it. I didn't think about whether it would or would not hurt my Christian values. I didn't think about all those different kinds of things. And so, like I said, as I've been reading this chapter, it really made a highlight to what is it that I really want to do now? Like not to just think about it, but to consciously think about it. And I believe that there's a difference between those because we can think about something, but we don't put the conscious effort for it to go deeper so that we can understand the underlying root and the underlying causes for why we make some of the decisions that we make. So for that, chapter number 6 was very enlightening to me. With that being said, the second part of discussion, question number 7 says, identify and discuss in detail 3 of your favorite self-assessment procedures for counseling found in chapter number 6. So with that being said, the first self-assessment that I found very interesting was interest identification. I like this one very much because it puts a lot of control in my hands. Specifically, what it talks about that the clients are instructed to write down 20 things that they like to do, and that we can list it from different variations, and then how we have to code it based on T for what's additional training, R for what involves risk, PL for what involves planning, an A, a P, or an AP for whether to do the activity alone or with other people. And for me, this kind of spoke to me a little bit because I think it allows me to see how narrowed I am with a lot of things. I'm a kind of person where I like to do a lot of things individualistically. And so it helped me to understand, okay, this is partly my interest, but it's also partly of who I am. And so it allowed me to be able to think about that in more detail, so that it can help me to be groomed into this next career choice that I'm making as far as mental health counseling. The second self-assessment that I really like was the Lifeline, basically a career life planning experience. A lot of times we don't, or I should say, I don't always connect all of my life events into my career events. And so I kind of think of them sometimes as separate entities. And okay, what I learned in life is what I learned in life, but I don't carry that lesson over into career. And so for this, it really made me think about, okay, well, how do I do that better? How do I bring those life lessons into career lessons so I can teach others to be able to have career lessons as well? A lot of times I think that if I can't process it, I can't teach it to somebody else. And I'm a firm believer in that, even when it comes to Christianity. If I can't understand it or I can't break it down into an instance that where I understand it enough to where I can exhibit it and explain it to other people, then it becomes harder to be able to connect those pieces together. And so I think with that, this really helped me to understand that process of being able to understand that I need to do that. That life and career are not really separate entities, but they're intertwined together. And being able to do that a little more effectively, so that way I can kind of get a better overall sense of life, career pursuits, and to be effective as a person as well as a counselor. The last self assessment that I really liked and I really identified with was the skills identification. And with that, it talks about identifying skills from previous experiences and numbers, such as activities, works, hobbies, and other things that you might have done as far as work, as far as volunteering. And that kind of goes back to the lifeline, where it should be able to do an assessment on those things from different activities and being able to identify them to see what skills do I possess in this area. Am I bringing those skills into my career area? Why or why not? How can I bridge that so that what I'm doing in one area is also being done in another area? Or maybe skills that I might have forgotten about, because I didn't utilize them. And so, because I forgot about them, I might not think that they're valid, when in reality, they could be very much valid. I just haven't given myself the opportunity to be able to show the validity of them. So this really made me think as well that a lot of things that I'm doing in different entities of my life, I'm really not having that connectivity piece so that it can be connected together. So people can, so that I can utilize what I have, and so that it's not laying dormant. And so those are the three self-assessment skills that really spoke volumes to me while I was reading chapter number 6 this week. Thank you so much for listening. I enjoyed this post, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Take care now.